Hey everybody, Joe Joseph here for thedailysheeple.com, and this is your news shot. Captain Obvious strikes again. As the Atlantic reports, even the insured often can't afford their medical bills. Yeah, because insurance sucks these days. It absolutely stinks to high heaven. I mean, I've seen my family's medical coverage just plummet while costs skyrocket. And the Atlantic did a piece on this saying the debate over the future of healthcare is obscuring more pedestrian reality. Insurance may handle most costs, but many Americans still need to turn to charity for help when they get sick. It says a chance trip to Long Island's Adventureland amusement park just might have saved Cassidy McCarthy's life. It says after Cassidy, whose family call her Cassie, then 4, complained about pain and nausea following a ride on the Ladybug roller coaster, her dad, Daniel, a registered nurse, felt her stomach and discovered a small bump. A CT scan ordered up at the local hospital emergency room revealed a kidney tumor. It was another seemingly chance decision by Daniel McCarthy to sign on as a volunteer firefighter more than a decade ago that saved the family's finances in the wake of Cassidy's diagnosis with cancer. As it turned out, that activity allowed him to ask the Heather Prendergast Fund, a foundation set up in 2009 to help out families of Long Island's volunteer firefighters and EMS workers with their children's medical expenses, to pay many of Cassidy's medical bills. McCarthy said the charitable foundation was a financial lifeline. Cassidy quickly racked up more than several $1,000s in out-of-pocket medical expenses for the surgeon, the anesthesiologist, radiologist, chemotherapy, you name it, since the family's insurance policy had a $6,000 deductible. Now, a few months later, Pendergast came through again when McCarthy lost his job at a local nursing home and rehabilitative center, and the family suddenly had to find money for COBRA payments. Now, if anybody's had to do COBRA, it's absolutely asinine expensive. Now, for the McCarthy family, it was $2,100 a month. Obviously, more than a mortgage payment for most people, and very difficult to afford, especially when one's unemployed. He says, I don't know how people who don't have resources do this. I don't. He says many people work 3-4 jobs and can't afford the time to volunteer in an organization like the fire department that would be able to help them. There are many people living out there that need help that can't find it. The current debate, of course, over this Affordable Care Act crap and the secret bills that are being circulated through Congress over this, let me tell you, folks, they're not going to solve the problem. You cannot look to government to solve the problems. Government does not solve problems. Government makes problems worse. Oh, they may feel better in the short run, but just like everything else in the long run, they run them into the ground. Take a look at any social program out there and tell me, is it financially sustainable over the long run? And of course, you'll say every time, no. Why? Because as more and more people age, you're just not going to be able to afford it. Over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities in the United States alone when it comes to social programs. That's just Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. That's it. Those 3 programs, $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities. You know, I often wonder if Social Security will exist when I get to retirement age, if I get to retire. Cost of living has become so arduous for many people and so cumbersome, that they're going to have to work till they're 80 years old, maybe even later. Heck, they'll probably die before they're able to collect on Social Security. And as time goes on and technology advances, you're going to see jobs starting to phase out. And then what? Because the whole model then has to change. You can't have capitalism without a labor force. And the technology out there is quickly making human labor obsolete. So what is the solution? Because a lot of people will float the idea of a single-payer healthcare system. And again, that's all well and good, but when jobs go away, how do you tax people? What are you going to do to have income for the federal government? See, eventually, something's got to give. And there's only so much time to kick the can down the road before you have to pay the piper. So what the solution, I think, is, personally, that would be in all of our best interest, would be to ditch the insurance companies, to make it only catastrophic care, and to utilize the free market, if we could call it free, if we could theoretically have a free market, and let people dictate the prices based on supply and demand. And if we did that, I think you would end up seeing that things would get better, because I don't even think doctors really truly like insurance. I know some doctors that have ditched the insurance companies and now operate as out-of-network doctors, charging concierge fees, the concierge model, just to be able to spend the time with their patients and also circumvent the insurance system, the scam, if you will. So instead of having to see a patient every 7 minutes, because you might bill the insurance company, let's say $200, and they give you $46, now you have people that pay a membership fee, if you will, to be a part of the practice, and then they pay their doctor's visit. And in doing so, now instead of seeing a patient every 7 minutes, now you can see him for a half an hour or an hour. And it gives you the opportunity, the doctor, to be able to properly troubleshoot and get to know your patient and develop a relationship, one that you should have with your doctor, one that used to exist with your doctor before you became just a number, before it was treat the symptom instead of fix the problem. And that's where we are with our broken medical system today. So is there an easy solution to this? I think there is. However, you're going to have to see the system die before we see a common sense solution take place. I'm Joe Joseph. This was the DailySheeple.com's News Shot. Feel free to comment below and visit our website at thedailysheeple.com. Have a great day.